Welcome back to the Hit Squad. Chad Range alongside Jesse Finney. And of course, we want to hear from you, the fans. Our Facebook is /Hit Squad 101 ESPN. Twitter handle, basically the same thing, at Hit Squad 101 ESPN. This segment brought to you, of course, by the Knuckle Junkies. One of my favorites. They always post such great questions, and we're going to get right to it. St. Louis flyweights Josh Sampo and Alp Oskilic recently signed with the UFC, and Sampo will make his organization debut on Saturday, as we talked about, the Tough 18 finale. How will Sampo and Oskilic do in the 125-pound division?
Good question. I think that the jury's still out. We'll see. I think that they're both very talented guys. I think that from watching them, grow up, I guess you should say, in the market. I think they're going to do really well. I think that I think they should have been in a long time ago, to be quite honest with you. I think that I said a couple weeks ago, whoever's managing Alp and Josh, you're not doing your job. And I think they have out of town managers. So I don't even know who it is, but I think they're going to do really well. I think that these guys are great wrestlers with good hands. So, they're always, those are the type of guys that I really enjoy to, can't get the takedown. They like to bang it out. And, Sampo likes, I think, more the takedown than Alp a little bit. But I think that, different wrestling styles completely. But I think they should do really well in the 125-pound division. I hope that they don't have to fight each other anytime in the near future. But if push comes to shove, I know they're really good friends, and I would hate to see that.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have to fight each other, fight for the title.
I do agree with you on that. And it's one of those things Lance Benoist honestly talked about when he got to the UFC. You see that jump in competition, that's better. It's just, that's the way it goes. And I've noticed kind of even in the past, it takes those tough guys a couple of almost years to. I remember we had what's the kid's name? He was in the WCL last year. He lost to Gastelum, Kevin Gastelum. Uriah Hall. Yeah, they were saying, you could compete for this is coming from Chael Sonnen, and you could compete for the title, right now. Well, it always seems like they get out of there, and it takes them a little while to get acclimated.
I agree, but someone like Uriah Hall compared to Josh Sampo and Alp Oskilic, these guys are mature guys. Mm-hmm. Okay, they're a little more mature mentally.
Well, I agree.
Than Uriah Hall.
I'm just saying that it helps being in the UFC, getting those fights under your belt, and I think you really hone your craft there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? On a different level.
It's UFC jitters.
Absolutely.
With a lot of people, but I also say that these two guys, they're pretty mature guys from what I hear and from what I've seen in their fights. And they're very smart fighters. Uriah Hall, I think, was going a lot of athleticism.
Yeah.
These guys are high-level wrestlers. And it's going to be interesting. I think they should do really well. I really feel that they should. It'll be an interesting time. We'll see.
It's one of those things time will tell, and it's one of those things I think happens later rather than sooner for most fighters. Absolutely. If you compare the MMA fighter to a kickboxer and a boxer, which one takes more physical damage through the duration of their career? Now, this is something that has been. Obviously, with the concussions and stuff that's going on in football, this is something that we've been looking at in the combat sports. And, MMA, they say it's over quickly, where the boxers and kickboxers get the constant pounding to the head. So, in your opinion, what would you be looking at there?
It's a great question. Again, here I would say that just from my experience, from doing boxing and from doing kickboxing and from doing MMA, I feel that a lot of my injuries came more from probably kickboxing, just because I'm getting, legs, knees and everything else kicked to the legs and the knees and everything else. And it's a constant as you're getting hit in the head. I think the brain damage, if anything, it's going to be definitely boxing.
Right.
110%. I think the safest sport out there right now is mixed martial arts. People call me crazy by saying that if you're not educated on the sport, that's probably what you're going to think. But at the same time, if you're educated on the sport, you're going to realize that mixed martial arts is probably the safest out of all of these. Boxing, without a doubt, you're going to get more brain damage. Long term, you're getting hit in the head on a constant basis. In kickboxing, you can kick the legs and you can hit the head. Gives you more options to do. Mixed martial arts, you can switch everything up. And one thing about mixed martial arts compared to kickboxing and compared to boxing is you're getting an 8 count. Where you get an 8 count, you get knocked down, you get sit back and you get 8 seconds to recover and get hit back in the head again. Okay, in mixed martial arts, it doesn't happen. You know what? You get cut, you get hit in the head 4 or 5 times, they call the fight's over. Not going to give you time to go back and get your bearings about you and come right back and get hit in the head again.
I was going to say
that's my take on it right there. I think that once again, if I was going to get my kids involved in something, it would absolutely be mixed martial arts from the beginning.
Probably start them in wrestling, you think?
I would start them in wrestling at a young age and some boxing, some kickboxing. As far as non-contact getting hit in the head, I would actually, but at the same time, I think the kids could be doing kickboxing, boxing drills when they're the time they're 3 years old.
Hitting the pads and
Hitting
stuff.
the pads,
yes,
wrestling, starting to get some things going. Do I recommend going out there and getting punched in the head when you're 4 and 5 years old? No, I really don't. A lot of people disagree with that, though.
I agree with you. You shouldn't probably at 4 and 5 be getting kicked in the head. Save that till later on in life, absolutely. And I really liked your point about, how many times have you seen a guy, in a round of boxing get knocked down twice?
Right.
For an 8 count. That just doesn't happen in the UFC. You'll see a guy go down and maybe fend off getting knocked out.
Right.
But it's rare, you know what I mean? Most of the time it's MMA one and done. I agree, it is the safest of all 3 of those sports. It's been reported that Ben Askren has spoke with UFC officials, but Dana White still seems adamant that the funky former Mizzou wrestler still needs a few more fights before joining the UFC. Will we see Askren in the UFC during the 2014 calendar year?
Yes, I do think that we'll see Ben Askren in the UFC in 2014. I think that.
What do you chicken?
I don't know if I love it because I like Ben, and I think that Dana's actually just trying to piss off Bellator a little bit more and saying, listen, we don't want
your guys.
Your champion. He doesn't mean anything to us. We go
so
on and get some other fight. We're not even interested in you're even champions. I think it's kind of a slap in Ben's face. You know what? Guess what? It's mixed martial arts. If you can't, hey, he's got a boring style. Yeah, it is what it is. But if you can't stop it, you know what? It's called mixed martial arts. And if you can't stop it, hey, listen, it's more power to Ben to be able to continue to do exactly what he says. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to lay on you for 5 rounds, and you're not going to stop it. Cool. Yeah. And if you can't stop it, you can't complain about it.
Yeah, well.
Do you watch his fights? No. Are you going to buy his pay-per-views? No. So maybe that's why the UFC isn't signing him. The UFC is going to pick the guy up.
Yeah, what, you had 54 events, I would say.
Yes.
They need to fill it with quality guys.
There's some of these clowns out there getting signed in this divisions, and you're not going to pick up Ben Askren. Ben's going to ask for a bigger contract. I think it's kind of a slap in Bellator's face is what he's really doing here. And it's a shame because I think Ben Askren's a tremendous athlete.
Ben's just the wrong guy.
If
he was just a guy who was coming out of a different...
That's just my opinion.
I can see it. I know exactly what you're saying there. That's funny. But, 2014, will we see him?
I think we will see him in 2014.
Okay, that's good stuff. All right, now...
Dana just being Dana.
Yeah. We can say that. We need a sign or a slot. Dana being Dana. Okay, Sergio Pettis notching a win in the UFC. KJ was wondering, what are the best brother combos in MMA history and why? The Shamrocks, the Diaz, the Nogs, the Milienkos. It's a tough one.
I definitely would not say Shamrocks. I would not say Shamrocks. Diaz, I don't think you can go with Diaz either. It's going to be Nogueiras or the Elamenkos. I think that long term, I think you have to say Fedor. Yeah, his brother, not so much. If you're going brother for brother, Nogueiras are probably, I don't know, man. Fedor's got to be it. I think Fedor's got to be it.
The best out of all those brothers?
Yes, I do. Elamenkos. And here's the thing. I think that you have a very strong argument if you say Nogueiras. I think you could flip a coin and get either one of those
guys.
I don't think the Diaz and the Shamrocks actually belong in that type of category.
In that type of it. But overall, you not going with Nick as one of the best.
No.
Fedor?
No, I don't. I don't at all. I think one of the two would be Nogueiras or Elamenkos.
Nick had a good following. That was the thing. He had that
Still does.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love watching him fight.
Exactly. He's a guy I think you love to hate him. Either people are on his side or against him. I don't think there's very many just middle of the road.
That's true. That's true.
Either you want to see him get beat or you want to see
him. You're the rebellious type or you're kind of like
right. Yeah. I don't think there's any gray area with Nick. And Nick obviously I think is a stronger fighter than Nate.
Right.
So, I agree. The Nogs would probably get my nod. Well, coming up, we're going to be tackling the local scene. It's been a busy time for you, hasn't it?
Absolutely has been. It's going to continue to only get busier.
Absolutely. We'll be tackling that next on 101sports.com.